Hello everybody, this is Paul Pona, and today is going to be something really exciting. I'm going to be talking about this specific subject today, one of the most important subjects you'll ever see come up anywhere and anybody will be ever sharing with you, and that is this right here. Okay, so let me adjust my screen here a little bit right now before we get in the way. Now, of course, there's going to be a Q&A, live Q&A, and everything else that's going to be happening today live. So let me also put this post as the first post so you can all see it. So this is the topic today, video copywriting secrets. Okay, pretty exciting information. I love talking about this particular topic because it's easily the most important topic anybody should be learning. It's a high income skill. We like to talk about this in detail in big masterminds that I'm part of and so on. Some of the most successful people out there do this properly, do it in the right way, and I'll get into detail of what I've learned over the last almost 14 years that I've been doing this stuff. And it's easily the most important skill you'll ever need when it comes to learning how to create better videos, how to create better marketing messages for yourself, for clients, and so on. And more important than anything else, it's also about making sure that you get the best results for your videos as well, right? So this is what I'm going to be talking about today, and I'm not going to be just talking about theory. I'm going to talk about practice as well. A lot of people always talk about like theory of psychology and trying to get people to persuade people to engage and so on and so forth, right? What I like to believe is it's very simple. At the end of the day, it's all about trying to get somebody engagement and attention. Okay, that's all copywriting really is. If you can get somebody's attention and you can engage them, you're good. If you can understand these two things, okay, I'm gonna write this down here so you can understand it, and I can simplify this for you. There's only two parts to copywriting. Okay, it is attention. Okay, let's put ATTE, right? Well, I can't write here today. Attention. And the second part of the equation is it's very simple, engagement. Okay, so let's put 2 here, engagement, and I'm going to writing it as big as possible so you can actually see it, and then we can kind of get underway. Now, if you cannot hear me okay, and if you cannot see my screen, do let me know in the chat box. Okay, I am looking at your comments and so on, so let me know, because sometimes I keep going on and then people tell me that they cannot hear me. You can hear me okay, right? I'm assuming you can definitely hear me okay here today. Okay, cool. I'm seeing a lot of people saying they can hear me now. All right, perfect. Now, the other thing is I want to make this as engaging as possible, and also want to keep it very crisp so that everybody can understand this and get the best results and so on. Okay, so talking about video copywriting, let's talk about the two components of it, attention and then engagement, right? And again, this applies for AvatarBuilder videos. It applies for everything you'll ever do in your life, right? And so basically, let me actually go into in depth on this topic, okay? Because again, as I said, a lot of people don't understand this. They don't use it properly, and then they get surprised why their videos are not getting the kind of clients that it gets, or the results that they need to get, whether it's getting sales, getting traffic, conversions, right? So let's talk about attention, okay? The first part. So I'm gonna highlight this part so you can, you know that I'm focusing on this. This is the attention part. So what's happening right now online is there's so much noise out there, right? There's so many people doing so many things and so many products, so many services. Just generally, it's like a entire mess. To get attention these days is the most hardest thing out there. That's why if you notice, the biggest influencers out there, the most successful people in the world out there, they're the people who command attention, right? And it also comes down to, really, it's about, if you can get, okay, and this is something my mentor taught me, if you can get 100 people to be having an attention with you and engage with you, okay, 100 people to have attention and engage with you, you could build a really good side hobby, okay, meaning you can generate really good passive income, like a side business, right? If you can get 1,000 people, however, okay, let's have one more zero and then another zero, you could have a life-changing business, okay? This is the big thing that a lot of people don't realize. People always talk about thousands of people. People talk about millions of people. People talk about, I'm going to put a video, I'm going to become a YouTube star, I'm going to get 1 million subscribers. I'm going to get that 100,000 subscribers, that plaque that YouTube gives me. Irrelevant. I know so many YouTube people, 100,000 subscribers, 300,000 subscribers, they're broke. They don't make any money. And they're stressed out because they got to keep producing more content, right? Thing is, you got to get something called attention, meaning people are paying attention to what you're saying, and then engagement, meaning people are engaging, meaning they watch the first part of the video, they go all the way through and finish that video, or at least go through the majority of that video. This can be in anything. It can be your marketing message, whatever. If you can get 1,000 people, it's enough. You're going to be very, very successful. In fact, you're going to be one of the most successful people in your market. Okay. And that's the kind of difference. So when I'm going into any market, I'm looking at these 1,000 people. How can I get the engagement of these 1,000 people? And how can I get the attention of these 1,000 people? Okay. So now, thank you so much for the comment, right? And now, okay, so now information overload is another thing, right? Yeah, absolutely. This is what I'm trying to get at. So just like you having information overload, everybody else, just like you, have information overload in your market. Any market it is. There's so much noise out there. And it's just not about getting attention. Anybody can get attention. Like, for example, you could post, for example, you can go yell. Like right now, you go in outside of your house and you yell. You're going to get attention of your neighbors, right? It means nothing, right? Because they got to engage with you as well. This is another thing. You could just dance. You can go on the street and dance like a crazy person, right? Especially in the winter right now, you're going to be dancing crazy, right? And you can get attention of people, but are they going to engage with you, right? Are they going to spend money with you? That's a big thing, right? So that is something that a lot of people don't understand. There's two components, okay? When you talk about copywriting, talk about persuasion, you got to not only get the attention, you got to also get the engagement, okay? Now, how do we get the attention? How do we get the engagement? Let's talk about that in a proper ethical way that will also get results long term, right? Again, as I said, you can go out, shout it right out the window, and then you can get attention of your neighbors, and that's not the right kind of attention. And you could, do that. You can even go, for example, engage. Like tomorrow, you can message like 100 people on Facebook or Twitter or Instagram or whatever, and you can engage with a bunch of people on irrelevant conversation. Like you can go to political forums, talk politics. You can go into sports forums, talk sports. You can do all this stuff, right? You can engage with people. But the point is that it has to engage with the kind of people who have a pain point that you're solving, okay? That is what you got to realize, okay? So really, at the end of the day, my simple thought, and this is something I've been focusing on since my mentor taught me this for last, I think, a decade, okay? It's not something I take lightly. I'm focusing on 1,000 people, okay? I don't care about whether I can get a million people. I don't care, to be honest. Like in our Facebook group, I'm very grateful. There are 22,000 people right now, okay, that we have in our Facebook group. We just had 22,000 since when I'm doing this video, so probably it might go up more. I don't care. I mean, to be very honest with you, it doesn't matter to me. I could have 2 million. I don't care. I want 1,000 people minimum to have attention and engage with me. If I can do that, I've done great service to those 1,000 people, first of all. And then secondly, those 1,000 people, I got great results because I could mingle with them and get them good results. And more important than either of those 1,000 people will get better life, better results, better customer satisfaction, and ultimately those 1,000 people would go and share the message that, hey, I got great value, and then they're bringing another 1,000 people and so on, right? So this is the secret. I know sometimes I'm talking about it sounds like theory and so on, but this is all you got to figure out, okay? 100 people, as I said, again, let me repeat that again. 100 people who are engaging with you, who are having attention, could be a very good side business, somewhere around $3,000, $5,000 a month and so on, right? Maybe even more. Depends on the market, depends on the size of your services and so on. It could be even more, right? But 1,000 people, it could be 6 figures a month easily, because those 1,000 people could be spending hundreds of thousands. Even if 1,000 people spend $100 a month with you, that's 100,000 a month. Even if they spend just $50 a month with you, that's 50,000 a month. You see what I'm trying to explain to you? How it adds up very quickly. That's the kind of thinking you got to get into, okay? That is the kind of thought process you got to get into. Always start small and expand. Don't go big looking at all these so-called YouTubers and these people with like 2 million followers, 1 million. Doesn't matter, okay? And it's worse. It's going to hurt you, because how are you going to engage and find out your audience if your audience is all over the place, right? That's the big problem. A lot of YouTube folks, a lot of influencers out there, a lot of successful so-called, gurus, if you will, have, which is they don't know who they're talking to. because they have 1 million followers. They don't know if they're male or female. They don't know if they have dislikes and likes, what their likes are, what their interests are, right? So they're just shooting in the dark, and they're just hoping something will click, right? I'm not saying that you're not going to be very successful having millions of followers or whatever. What I'm saying is, at the end of the day, even those people with millions of followers are looking for something called super fans, or people who are the most engaged in that audience, because those are the people who might buy their merchandise, products, services, blah, 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 right? So if you can approach it in this way, doesn't your life become more easier? So if I could show you today how to get engagement of 100 people so you can build a good side business, and then scale up to 1,000 so you can change your life forever, becomes much more easier as a goal to start off with, right? So now let's talk about goals here, okay? So I can talk about, so now let's start off with something simple, right? Like so let's say it is 100, right? 100. And you are looking at 100 people. This could be 100 clients. This could be 100 customers. It could be whatever, right? And could be even prospects who've never purchased from you, but it's 100, right? Now let's drill it down a little bit here so that we can make it even simpler, right? So in a month, we have 30 days or something, right? You have 30 days in a month. So all you have to do is connect with just about 3 people a day, roughly, right? I mean, just slightly more, but let's say 3 people a day, you got to connect and engage with, okay? 3 people, right? That's it. Now, my question to you is, if you create a video and it's very, very specific to a niche, can you get 3 people to watch that video in a day on social media platforms, right? Can you get this? It's much more achievable, right? Now, 3 people watching a video doesn't mean 3 people engaging, but what's happening now, and this is something I've seen, after every video, right, have a call to action. Message me if you need anything. Contact me, contact my phone number, email, whatever, right? Have a call to action after every video. So these people are more likely to connect with you, okay? Connect and engage, same thing. Connect, engage, same thing, right? So that what happens then is, if you get these 3 people and you're engaging with them in a messaging thing or email or phone or chat, doesn't matter. What's going to happen is you can now have the engaged, let me put engaged, right, list of 100 people in whatever it is that you want to do. Now, this makes your life easier because now what you're going to do is you can go find the likely people, those 100 people who would be willing. Now you can go do that in many ways, okay? So let's go jump through a few of them, right? You can find them through Facebook groups, right? Like other Facebook groups. Let's say you're interested in, for example, dating. They're dating focused Facebook groups. Let's say you're getting interested in losing weight or some kind of a diet like ketogenic diet, Atkins diet. Maybe you're interested in, for example, helping people who might have gone through a surgery recently and they're recovering, right? That could be something you're interested in, because a lot of people, they're feeling a lot more scared after a surgery, right? Whatever, right? Your niches, and you can type in some niches. Like for example, let's say your niche is real estate, right? Let's talk about real estate. You're a realtor, for example, trying to buy a house or so. You're looking at 100 engaged clients, okay? That's what you got to look at. So where are you going to find them? Okay, you're going to find them in Facebook groups in your locality. You're going to find them, for example, on Twitter, maybe, right? Or you're going to find them, for example, on YouTube, maybe, right? Because you just post a video saying, look, engage with me, subscribe to my channel, or contact me, connect with me. Here's my phone number. Here's my email. Text me, chat with me, whatever. Now, when you add these platforms, right? And again, the better platforms also, like Upwork, right? As I mentioned that in our previous training, like Upwork opened up a new system. If you didn't watch it, watch that. It's in the announcements tab, my new training I did recently. And then again, that was because of the Martin Luther King weekend. I hope you enjoyed that if you're in the US. And I did that just before that. Now, you can get this in Fiverr. You can get this wherever. You can get it on Reddit. You can get it wherever, right? So my point is that it simplifies the process when you look at it in this perspective. 100 people, that's all I need. And I can get that in 5 months. I can get that in 3 months. I can get that in doesn't matter. How am I getting it? Doesn't matter. There's so many different opportunities out there. There are new platforms coming up every day. There's Pinterest now. You can get people there. You can get people, for example, in your Facebook marketplace. You can get them in Craigslist. You can wherever, right? You see my point. So the point is, these days, because of attention, okay, and I'll explain a perfect example for it, okay? So now let me explain this, right? So look at this. Loving your lecture, right? So I know who that message is. Like if I reply back to the person who did this message, right? And this one, right? And so on and so forth. If I'm typing a response back, the likelihood of that person looking at that message is very high, right? Because I'm going to tag the message to whoever the name is, and then they're going to get a notification on Facebook saying Paul messaged you, right? Please check out what message Paul commented or messaged you. Now, that almost gets a 98, 99% open rate, right? You see how easy it is if I drill it down to just 100 people as opposed to looking at a million. Now, if 1 million people watch this and I got comments, I cannot keep track of it. And the worst part is there are so many people out there who are doing this and they don't even know it's hurting them, right? And they'll accept it to you and you bring it out. I know people with 10 million following, but they might get 1,000 people to purchase a product if they post a message, right? Now, 1,000 people with 10 million followers doesn't mean anything, right? You see my point? Engagement is what matters. These days, even the biggest companies, right? Like you'll see some of the biggest companies, Monster Energy drink, you have some of these other Red Bull, you go into say, for example, toothpaste brands, you go into teeth whitening brands, whatever. You go into all these other industries that are using social media marketing. They look at engagement. How many likes, how many comments that influencer gets, not the following. Okay, because following is so easy to get these days. You could just pay for it too if you want. You know what I mean? I can just go pay somebody and then I can get a bunch of following. So this is what matters. This is what you got to focus on. Okay, and engagement is much easier with 100 people than it is with 10,000, 100,000 people anyway. So it's a big advantage that you have. And I keep telling this all the time with people, and they never take it to heart. And it saddens me is if you can figure out and you can deal with 100 people, it's much more easier as one person to handle 100 people than it is with 1,000, 10,000 and on and on and on, right? It's much more easier for you to manage. So you have an advantage over others, right? You have an advantage over me, for example, right? You have an advantage over me too because I have to deal with 22,000 people in the group, right? Now, of course, I know from that 22,000, there's so many active people, maybe 3,000, 4,000 people who are very, very active in the group, but the other ones, not so much. But even then, you have an advantage over me because I got to have a bunch of staff and so on to respond. I cannot do a one-to-one based communication as much as possible, right? So there's two types of copywriting, and this is very important you understand. Either you go mass, meaning you go broad, right? Or you go, meaning you reach millions of people, which costs a lot of money to get the attention, engagement, and so on. And it's a whole different ball game, right? And or you go very, very narrow. You go very, very narrow and reach that 1,000 people potentially who could be really, really receptive to your service, your offer, your product, okay? Now, when you drill it down this way, it simplifies the process. It gives you a clarity of thought on what to do, right? And it's the same thing, right? Like if you go into history, right? If you see Jesus, right? Jesus Christ. So when Jesus wanted to get the message out, he didn't have expectation like, oh, I'm going to get 1 million people to receive my message. It passed along, but he wanted his own disciples. Then he had his own group of people, right? Same thing with Buddha. If you went into Buddha, he didn't care if he had like a following of 1 million people. Like even today, let's say Buddha was alive, Jesus was alive, right? Whatever. And you give them, right? You bring them back here, and then let's say the second coming comes, right? And you say, okay, here's 10 million Instagram followers, go enjoy. I'm like, what do I do with 10 million? I only need a bunch of people who connect with me, who'll understand what I have to say, right? My message. So that is the approach you got to take as well, okay? That way you'll understand the greatest of greatest, right? Of all time. That's how they look at things. And that's how I look at things as well, because that's a much better path to follow. Now, the idea that I'm trying to bring across here is it's very, very simple. If you're going to connect with people, please engage with them as well. I see this oftentimes where people have accustomed to the spamming concept, which is, oh, I'm going to message 1,000 people and I'm not going to do any personalization. I'm just going to copy paste stuff and then I hope and pray they're going to be good, right? It doesn't work like that. What's going to happen is you're going to alienate those 1,000 people. On the other hand, if I connect in a very, very personal way to 10 people, 100 people, those 100 people reply back to me and I reply back, done. You've won the game, because that's more than what most people do out there, right? So hope that is clear, okay? Hope that is, very, very drilled down, okay? And that's, very clear as well that I'm talking about, right? Now, this one, and let's see, this is the thing. I do a live stream, I keep getting these same questions again. So to answer this question, so we are working on the back button and as well as the edit clone button. It's already there in my accounts. The only problem is that we are testing it with our internal team and beta testers and so on. And we got a couple of small issues that came up when we were testing it. So we're going to be having it in the next 20, 40, 48 hours or less, because we want to make sure that when you're releasing it thousands of people with thousands of different variations, they're going to be ready and so on. So I'll be making an update on it. And actually, we actually started rolling it out with some of our beta testers as well. So I'm going to be releasing an update very, very soon. I'm hoping next 20, 40, 48 hours or even less, but you're going to have a notification in the app as well. Okay. So that's another thing, because I don't want to get sidetracked, but let's see here. So if you go into the app, you're going to see a notification as soon as you log in, somewhere down here or whatever. You're going to see it very clearly when it's up. Okay. So you understand that it's available, right? So just to answer, you see how the edit clone is activated in my account. It's already active. We already have it enabled. And even you go into clone, you see this here. Anyway, so you see this back button here, the same thing. You see this back button here is in the bottom left. It's already active for us. The problem is, you see this again. You can go back steps here, for example. We already have it set up, but the thing is, again, we wanted to test a couple of things, because our beta testers and a couple of people testing it said one or two things were, not being captured when we were going back and forward. So we're looking into that, and our developers are fixing that right now. And next 24 to 48 hours or less, much less than that, because already you see this, right? It's working. So I go back here and I can go forward, back. You see this, right? It's already working in our system, but just a couple of things we wanted to do, because we release it to 1,000 people. Last thing we want is, we're getting thousands of requests, right? So I just want to be clear, okay? Now this other point, which is a very, very good point that came up. Right? Great copy and images and teaser can make or break the whole thing. Absolutely. Now, this is, again, when it comes to, let's see, when I'm teaching stuff, I want to be as broad as possible, because I want to reach everybody, right? So the key point about copywriting, okay, I'm probably one of the best copywriters in the world right now. And I don't mean to brag, but I just want to tell you that it didn't come easy. It came over time. But the fundamentals that worked not even 10, for me 10 years ago, but for other people 100 years ago, still work today, right? The thing is, the modalities change, okay? This is what I'm trying to do. Right now, it's all about video. Video is the most important way to persuade people on scale. Meaning, if you were to talk to 100 people at once, you cannot do it, right? You need 100 phones and you need 100 ears and 100 mouths. It's impossible. But video you can put up and 100 people can watch at the same time. Like right now, I'm doing the live stream. There's hundreds of people probably will watch this now, or even later on, thousands of people will watch it. That's scale, right? 100 people can watch it, 1,000 people can watch it, 1,000,000 people can watch it. This is the technology now. We didn't have that a few years ago. You didn't have the bandwidth to do so, right? Now, that is scale, right? So video in reality is just copywriting in scale. That's all it really is, right? I'm trying to reach people on a very large scale. That's what video is. So when clients are asking you to work with them and so on, they're asking you just the simple fact, which is, can you help me get my message, my product, my service on scale? Okay? Hope that is making sense. That is clear, right? So you're doing copywriting on scale. That's all it really comes down to. Nothing really complex here. Now, the second part about copywriting, and this is very, very important, and trust me when I say this, this is the 2021 way of doing things. And this is, if you're talking about 2021, what I'm going to be doing and where our millions of dollars of focus and time and energy is going to work, right? So let's say 2021. Secrets, right? What is the secrets for 2021 that we're planning on, right? Let's talk about that. So what's happening right now, okay, is there is a huge lack of attention deficit, right? Meaning a lot of people are unable to get attention these days. You see even the biggest of biggest folks out there, they're paying people to get attention. They're paying TV channels to get attention. They're paying, for example, social media networks to get attention, right? And the problem with this, right, and it's going to snowball itself. It's going to become more and more expensive to get attention. The problem with this is, at the end of the day, it's a losing battle because you can only spend so much to get so much attention. At the end of the day, if people are not interested in your product, your service, or even in you or your message, it's useless, right? So the same way, what we have to look at 2021 and even beyond is what's happening in some of the other parts of the world, right? So as an example, one of the big things that are happening right now that I've noticed is, if you see, when it comes to video itself, right? Let's talk about that. What's happening a lot with these days is people are doing things in real time with actual communication and back and forth. For example, if you're creating a video, let's say, copywriting, I can teach you. I'll teach you some concepts and so on today. But if you're going to get a video, please post it in a section where you can get feedback, okay? Very, very important. Absolutely critical. Feedback. And then comments, okay? Similar to what you folks are posting in the chat right now. When you do this, it's automatic engagement, right? Because you're doing a back and forth, two-way communication, okay? Two-way communication. Let me write that down to you so that it's very, very clear. Two-way and then communication, okay? This is absolutely the critical part of future, where things are headed, where you should be headed as well. If you're working with a client, you're working with a product, you're working with a service, you're working with your videos, and if a client says, hey, I want a video to be embedded into my website, tell them, let's post it also on YouTube. Let's post it also on your Facebook business page. Let's also post it everywhere where we can get comments and where we can get a two-way communication. Because then what happens is, the minute that you respond back to a person, you built that 100 people that I was telling you about, okay? That is the secret these days. It's all about engagement. Is that clear? Right? So that should be very, very important that you folks should understand, okay? And if you're watching this later on as replays, well, try to get this 100 people as much as possible. Get it to that 100 people as much as you can, all right? So we are on the same page and you can actually get great results long term, right? So what do we mean with copywriting? Okay, let's go into the details of it, okay? Copywriting is really, if you open up AvatarBuilder, right? Let's open up the app here. If you go into the AvatarBuilder app and you choose, right? Let's say you go into the text to speech, or like this is whatever, right? You go into scripts, right? And we have a dentist script. Let's say this is this is copywriting, okay? Is that clear? This right here is copywriting. Your script is copywriting. Now, if you see, we gave you a bunch of scripts that you could use and so on, right? If you need a dentist, you have a lot of questions. Will my procedures hurt? Do you accept my insurance? Or even, do you perform the advanced procedures that I need? Blah, 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 right? Now, if we drill this down, really, what is it really talking about? So let's dive in deeper. Let me zoom this in a little bit so you can see it. All right, so let's talk about it. If you're in need of a dentist, so this is the problem, right? You need a dentist. It's the problem. Now, what are your questions to that problem, right? So let me drill it down. So if we really look down upon this, this is where we say problem, right? Do you need a dentist? If you're probably having questions, right? Which is basically, again, bunch of problems, right? Problem, right? Will you accept my insurance? It's another problem, right? You see this, what the trends are? Problem, or even do your procedure. There's another problem. Now, this is the solution, right? What we're providing. And this is like in a 30-second script that we're showing. We have years of experience. What is this? Social proof, as we like to call it, right? Social proof. Meaning, hey, look, we have years of experience, so this is our social proof, right? And then get a beautiful smile. This is the result, right? Solution, result, right? You see my point? And if you haven't been to a dentist in years and you have even greater fear of going to the dentist, we can help, right? This is another point, which is we are reiterating the problem, right? We're repeating the problem, right? And don't put off getting the smile that you deserve. Again, so another thing is you're drilling home that point, okay? And then we offer free consultation, which is the foot in the door, like we like to call it, right? Foot in the door, right? And then we accept major insurance plans, which is a solution, right? Solution. And give us a call, which is the call to action. Okay, simple. And nothing really complex about it. What we have to do, and this is a secret for writing proper scripts long term, right? Not just for AvatarBuilder, but for any video that you create, okay? Is this, which is problems, state the problems that the people are having. problem. What is the other problem that particular person has? And this, I cannot stress this enough, and I'm going to drill home this point. Even if you don't care, I don't care, but this is important. I want to make a point, which is this. Okay, let me write it down so you can see it in much greater detail, and I can drive home this point, which is, I'm going to even write it in red so you can see it and you can implement this in your business. Okay, the key secret is, okay, you need to do this. Okay, you need to write this. Okay, I cannot stress this enough. You're gonna get paid more money for doing it. A lot of people are like, oh, they go to a business, they're like, please send me the script, I'm gonna create the video. Oh, please send me the copywriting, I'm gonna do the video. The people who get the most money are the people who write that little 30-second script. You could be charging 5 times more money. Instead of getting $500, $300 per video, you're gonna get 3,000 per video, 2,000, 1,500, easy, because you're doing the thinking for the client, right? And I cannot stress this enough. It's the difference maker. I've dealt with hundreds of businesses. I've even charged businesses hundreds of thousands of dollars for consulting fees for working in their products and services, right? And I can tell you with certainty, the person who does this work right here, right, and not just rely on some client to send them, if it is their client's project and so on, or an external person to write this, that person, and I hope that's not you, will always get beaten out by the person who does this. Okay, so we provided the scripts in AvatarBuilder, which makes your life easier, but at the end of the day, I want to make this point very, very clear so you understand. This right here is the difference maker between great and good, right? Good is as good as average these days. I mean, it's as simple as that. So to simplify this, we gave you some scripts so you can modify, you can do, and so on. But I get these questions all the time. Paul, can you please put a template for our niche? Paul, can you create a template for this? We can build the templates, but what is your real question there? Let's talk about it. Your real question is, you want somebody else to write the script for you. You want somebody else to do the thinking for you for your niche, meaning you cannot do it on your own and you need that guidance. And if you are in that zone forever, for a long period of time, you're never gonna get to the next level, right? And we're talking about 100 people, right? Reaching those 100 people, only you will know the 100 people who you're trying to reach, or 1,000 people, their pain points better than anybody else, because you could do that research better than anybody else, right? Like, for example, you got a client, let's say it's a plastic surgeon or a dermatologist, or let's say even for that matter, it's an e-commerce business. They're so busy running their company, they don't have time to go in and search what are the pain points of their business. They don't have that much time to think, what are some issues that their clients are facing, or their customers, potential prospects are facing, and so on. So what happens is, when they give you a script or text to put into a video, or even a voiceover or whatever, the problem is they are coming in a very average perspective, not great. You can make it great. You can modify things, sure. You can start off with somebody's script and modify things and make it better. You're gonna get paid more money for it, obviously, but this is where the big money is, okay? It's a high income skill. I cannot stress this enough. You want your videos to be great. You want people to pay you more money with your videos. You want to actually generate life-changing revenue. You gotta master this, okay? Now, the fundamentals of copywriting comes down to something called NLP, okay? And NLP is like an old concept, but I'll show you, hopefully, to the best of my ability, okay? What NLP is, neuro-linguistic programming, as we like to call it. All the greatest of great copywriters have all used this NLP concept. So, and I'll go through some of them, okay? And hopefully it can kind of help you out a little bit and so on, okay? So, this is hopefully something I can do. You can go to Google and search for it, but I'll go through these, okay? I'll zoom this in here, okay? What is neuro-linguistic programming? Well, it's basically simple psychology, human psychology. We trigger psychology, right? So first part, anchoring, okay? And just so you understand, this is something that's been in there for 200 plus years. I didn't invent this. So I'm just going over stuff that may help you in the future. And this is something you Google, NLP techniques, right? Neuro-linguistic NLP, find NLP techniques. You can go Google this and you'll find this. It's nothing really great. But anchoring, right? Anchoring is very simple, right? You're doing positive reinforcement or an emotion, right? For that business, for that company, for that person. Like, for example, let's say my goal is to help somebody sell their house as a realtor, for example. Meaning, for example, if that realtor is trying to reach a prospect to sell a house or whatever, that person has to anchor to their existing client or to their prospect and so on, right? How that emotion will be like to buy the house. I made this explanation recently, which was recently the highest, like the house sold for 10 million or something where I live close by. It was a record-breaking sale. They didn't mention the bedrooms, they didn't mention the bathrooms, they didn't mention how big the backyard was. They just anchored, okay, the emotion by actually having a video which had two kids playing in the house, in the backyard and so on, and the couple having a dinner in the house and so on and so forth. Just the emotion, right? That itself will do the deed, right? It makes the emotion, it triggers, it elicits a response, engages the audiences, right? That's what anchoring is. This can be positive anchoring, it can be negative anchoring. Negative anchoring could be, hey, look, you're looking to lose weight, you've tried 28 different diets, I get it, it didn't work out. You tried Atkins diet, you tried ketogenic diet, you tried blah, 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 it didn't work out for you. This particular solution that I have is not a diet, okay? Because diet has the word die in it. That's why your body dies internally when you're going through a diet. This is another solution that I have, which does not need you to go through a diet, which is a temporary solution, but actually allows you to, have the kind of lifestyle that you desire, eat the foods that you like, but at the same time maintain a steady diet or steady weight, right? Or steady health. Like, for example, I could anchor it by saying, for example, and this also comes down to something called reframing. Hopefully they talk about that in just a second, but this also comes down to that other part, which is basically about you're anchoring positivity or negativity, a pain or a solution, either or. You got to make that decision very quickly, okay? Either your solution is going to bring them happiness or move them away from pain. It's the same thing, but different wording, you see? Anchoring, okay? Now the other one is belief change, okay? Now you see the examples are like, I'm not good at dancing, I'm a bad cook or whatever. Another person might be, hey, it's maybe my genetics, that's why I cannot lose weight. Hey, it's maybe because I'm not born as a salesperson or not, whatever, right? Those are beliefs that people have. If you can change the belief, right, that are not true, which is by showing proof. Like, for example, one of the big things I deal with all the time as well is this idea that you gotta inherit money, right? So like, let's say, for example, like a lot of the rich people inherit money. One of the big things. I've been dealing with this even when I was young. I was thinking like that. Then, so let's say, right, inheritance, right? Like they say everybody who's successful inherit money, right? Inherit. This is a belief, right? A lot of people have inherit, and this is what all the successful people have. The reality though, when I did research, and this is where you can break that bad belief patterns, was 97% of all new millionaires and so on are all self-made. 97%. So the odds are, if somebody is very successful in this day and age, they're self-made, right? So that means I broke that belief that people have where you got to inherit or you're going to win a lottery or whatever to be successful. I broke it right away, right? So by saying this, I've immediately changed the dynamic from what their belief was to a new belief, right? I know it's kind of advanced in a sense, but it's not really that advanced, right? I mean, you can go to Google and search the stuff. It's not so difficult, but it's very important that you understand the foundations of it, right? Every copywriter has studied these basics as much as possible, okay? In your video, how can you break a belief pattern somebody has, right? Instead of me creating a video which says something like, hey, my name is John, I have the solution, it is so great, blah, blah, blah. How do you break the belief patterns of that person? Meaning, what if your market, let's say, for example, right? Let's say you're in the real estate space as an example. Let's say your market is in that zone where, hey, look, I don't like using a realtor to sell a house because I'm paying such high commission. So I'm making less money afterwards, right? After the commissions are paid. Rather than that, what if we break that belief pattern and say, hey, look, by using a realtor, you save time. And also I'm going to sell your house for more money. So thereby it becomes free because you're going to sell your house faster. And also any commission I make, it'll be because of the price being higher because I know what I'm doing. As an example, I'm breaking the belief pattern, right? Same process applies to any industry, whether it's coaching, consulting, whether it's e-commerce, whatever product you're selling, you got to break the belief patterns, right? Whatever people have, right? Now let's go back here. And I'm using this example of this website. I've never even went through it, but I just searched in Google, NLP key points, and I landed on this. There's so many others here, right? You can go search, but it's basics, it's the foundations, right? And mirroring and rapport. This one is a little bit tricky. I mean, this is one of those things which people kind of make a mistake on, mirroring and rapport. The idea is that you mirror your prospect, right? But that's not true. Like, you don't want to be fake as well. Like, meaning if the idea was like you go in and if somebody's putting their face this way, you do the same. If somebody has their hand on their chin, you do the same, and so on and so forth. That was the old way of thinking. What we found out with more research and more evidence is that this really means you talk to your market. Okay, so what I mean by that is, let's say your target market is, say, I don't know, 60 years and above, and it's male, right? Let's say, right? 60 years plus, and it's male, let's say, right? This is your target market. Better have your 3D avatar being representing this age group. Better have your marketing having that kind of age group, right? You should not be having a 25-year-old trying to reach that market, because there's going to be no mirroring or rapport, right? You should know what market you're reaching and who you're reaching and what their age groups are, what their age, gender, whatever it is, right? You need to know that so that you can reach them better. This is what we call rapport, right? People will only understand the pain somebody's facing if they're very related in the age group, or maybe they have the same belief system, maybe political beliefs, or maybe religious beliefs, and so on. There's some commonality. That's what rapport means. So if I'm doing a video, if I'm using a 3D avatar, I'm using a video background, stock videos, whatever, try to incorporate this into your copywriting. Okay, very, very important. The last thing, and it's a sad thing, I see people trying to reach the wrong audience with the wrong 3D avatar or wrong, spokesperson, so to speak, right? Because you're not going to reach that message. Okay, so this is very, very important. Okay, now finally, let's go through reframing, the most important thing of all marketing. Okay, this reframing is probably the most important thing you'll ever learn. Okay, and so let me talk about this reframing. So probably the most important thing you'll ever learn, okay, in marketing, in copywriting. So it's called reframe. Okay, this is what some of the people like Tony Robbins, they live on this stuff, right? And they've been doing this for 40-50 years, more than I have been even alive in this world. So now the point of reframing is that you reframe an argument based upon what the problems or pain points the person might have. So let's talk about some examples on this one so that you get some clarity. Let's say that you are somebody who is trying to reach, let's say, for example, somebody who is 60 years and above. I'm using this example just that it gives some clarity, okay? 60 years and above, and you're trying to get them to, exercise, let's say, go to the gym and so on, right? This is your goal, right? This is your goal. Exercise, right? This is your goal. Now, what are the pain points of these people? The pain points are, look, I might not have the strongest of joints, so I'm kind of scared, right? So they might have some pain points like, for example, joints and so on and so forth. So what we are trying to do is we are trying to relieve those pain points, okay? So you're going to reframe it by saying, hey, look, that's fine. Your joints are not as great, but what you can do is you can reframe it by saying, look, you can do, for example, let's see here. You can do, for example, water-based exercises, right? And you're reframing the argument by saying, look, don't have to go to the treadmill like everybody else and so on and so forth. You can do water-based exercise in the pool and so on and so forth, right? Hope that is making sense. Am I being clear? So this is where you have an argument, and then you are reframing it to a completely different solution that you have, and you're making it pinpoint to that, okay? There may be so many other examples. If you want me to talk about some niches of yours, you can post in the chat box. I can go through some reframing arguments that we can do. The main point is when we come to reframing, and this is something a lot of people kind of make a mistake on, and I see this oftentimes, is they give up when somebody says they have an issue, right? Like if I go into a personal trainer and I say, look, I have, for example, weak joints, therefore I cannot do all these heavy lifting exercises or whatever. the problem is if that person says, oh, okay, sorry, I cannot help you, you've lost the sale, right? And the problem is most of the people do this. They give up. They just give up. Rather, if you reframe it and you provide another solution by saying, hey, that's fine. That's normal. What other things can we do? Either we can strengthen the joints, or we can do water-based exercises, or we can do, for example, yoga, right? Maybe, right? You can do yoga. I can provide you other solutions by reframing it that is even better for you, because they can help you heal faster, be in a better mindset, and so on and so forth. And the other point is that a lot of people, they go, for example, to the exercise or gym and so on for the wrong reasons, right? What is the reality, right? Like, let's talk about that. One of the big reasons people might want to go to the gym, right, is not to get the good body or whatever. That's the end result. But they want to feel good, right? This is the reason, right? Feel good. This is the main thing. If they can feel good without exercise, a lot of people will be happy with it. And if yoga or meditation does this for them, you've still solved their issue. So this is what reframing is all about. Okay. Hope that is making sense. If that is making sense, please type in just in chat box. Where instead of giving up, like, let's say you gave a video to a client and then they're like, I don't like it. I'm sorry, I don't like it. Instead of giving up and saying, oh, that client is bad or whatever, you reframe it by actually saying, okay, what about it didn't you like? And more importantly, you can also say it in such a way where, hey, give it a shot. I know why it's going to work. These are the reasons it's going to work, right? Because I'm coming from the perspective of your customer, not in the perspective of what you think your customer likes, because I know what your customer would like because I did research. You see my point? Instead of you trying to please people and beg people and like plead to people, you actually give them a solution, right? This is the secret, okay? Now, let's talk about, there's some points that people are talking about, right? And, right, dentist and pain. Very, very good question, okay? And let's reframe the point, right? Now, I know a little bit about this, but let's just do basics, right? Because again, this is like a live webinar, right? So let's talk about dentist and pain. It's a good question. So let's say dentist and then the pain, right? Let's talk about that. Yeah. So people don't go to a dentist to, because they have like that interest of going, right? Like they're like, oh, I'm going to go to the dentist. I'm going to be so happy to go there. No, people go for solution, whether it is to get their cavities filled or they have pain or whatever, right? Now, if you think about it in the perspective of a dentist, think of it this way, right? A lot of people became dentists because they wanted to be a doctor and serve people and so on, right? But in reality, what they realize when they actually get into dental practice is it's a business, just like any other business, right? It's a business. At the end of the day, you need staff, you need to have overhead, and a million other things. So the best way to look at it then is a lot of dentists, they're looking at it that in the service angle and so on. And then when they go to the business angle, they're like completely lost how to merge both of them, the business part and the service part, right? So for us, what we have to do is we need to make sure that the dentist thing, and you'll see this actually, the most successful dentists do this, is create the environment that is fun, right? So you create a fun environment, right, for kids, whoever comes in, right? Instead of like in the waiting room being like a drab, like emergency waiting room, like depression or whatever. You make it a fun environment by maybe giving away some fun stuff to do, like video games maybe, or maybe put like a TV and then have cartoons playing. I don't know. You decide. Whatever is fun, right? You can have kids coloring books, for example, for children, or even adult coloring books that are really popular. You can make the environment fun. So when these people come, there are two things that are happening. Okay, anchoring, which is the anchor is positive, meaning as soon as they enter, they're like, wow, this is welcoming. This is interesting. I've never seen something like this. This looks like a playground, right? And that will also reframe their mind away from the pain to pleasure, right? So when they come in, it's a completely different scenario, right? Now, the second thing you can do is you try and not to convince the person that there's not going to be any pain, because there's going to be pain, right? Obviously. But what you have to do is you need to kind of make sure, and this is something, again, and you've probably seen one of the greatest ads ever made. I think it was, can't remember right now, but anyway, it goes something like this, right? And I'll write it down so you can see it. It says, tastes bad, but it works. You see my point? Now what's happening? You're reframing it, right? You're saying, yeah, I agree, it tastes bad. This medicine you're taking, it tastes bad, but it works. It works. So that means this is a solution, right? People are willing to put up with this bad for a few minutes to put up with this solution. There's another thing. You can tell them, hey, look, it's going to hurt, but it's going to give you freedom. It's going to give you a solution to your pain long term. So it's going to be short-term pain for a long-term pleasure. Simple. See how you reframed it, right? Simple. But you can do it this way. And even when I've seen another thing is with dentists specifically, right? Is also what you'll notice is, and I've seen this quite often actually, you got to make the process of insurance painless, okay? This is another huge thing a lot of people have, because one of the big things is money, right? Money is a big objection. People are like, I don't have the money for these services, right? I don't have the money. So if you can make the insurance process simple by making automated, like, hey, look, you get the service, we'll deal with the insurance. Don't worry, we'll deal with it. And you do it ahead of time, you've removed the biggest obstacle people have, which is, can I afford it, the treatment? Can I pay for it? And will my insurance cover it, right? You see those scripts that we have, they'll cover that too, right? Will my insurance cover it? So you also, do this other part, which is remove obstacles, right? That might come in their way, whatever the obstacles are. Hope that is clear. You're removing the obstacles. So this is another thing, very, very powerful, something a lot of people don't realize, right? Now, let's talk about the other niche. Again, you guys can post niches and so on, and I'll do a couple more, and then after that, I'll also go through the other part. Actually, let me go through the final part that was on that list, right? There's tons, actually. You can go through it. There's leading and pacing is another one, and so on. Creative visualization, right? Hypnosis, blah, 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 right? Whatever. You can go into other ones, like you see, let's see, 3 basics, 100 plus list. Okay, what's this? This is 100. Wow. 100. Okay, let's see here. Okay, you see this? Affirmations, amplify feelings, dissolving bad memories, exploding bad memories, belief change, right? Perceptual positions, luck, modeling, progressive disassociation, self-compassion, submodalities, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. But the key point is it'll always be the same, which is you have a problem. These are the solutions, but I'm going to do it in such a way, but my solution is slightly different from every other solution you've ever heard of. That's all it really comes down to, right? Because every person who's coming to you is coming to you because they've already been through 10 other people and it didn't work out, right? Whatever it is, whether it's losing weight, dentist, buying a house, selling a house, whatever, right? You got to assume the prospect, and this is another huge thing, you got to assume, always assume your prospect or your potential customer, right? Potential customer, right? This is the final thing I kind of make a point of, because a lot of people don't understand this. They have tried other things and it didn't work. You gotta assume this. When you assume this, it makes your life even easier, right? They tried, right? Other people, other companies, other stuff, okay? Other stuff. Right? And it did not work. That's why they came to you. Right? Because they tried other stuff and then it didn't work, right? Now, when I'm approaching it this way, it's much easier to market, right? It's like, okay, you tried other stuff in the marketplace. Let's talk about, something simple, right? And we'll go through each one of them, right? So let's talk about this other niche, okay, which is very niche, very, very credit repair, right? Absolutely. Let's talk about credit repair, which is one of the toughest industries. I can understand. So let's talk about credit repair. People have tried other companies to repair their credit, right? Meaning they might have had like some loan, a car loan, or something that they had that they couldn't pay on time, and then their credit went bad, and now they cannot get more loans, they cannot get a mortgage, they cannot do all this other stuff, right? And they've tried probably debt consolidation services, they tried all this other stuff, and then they came to you because they tried other stuff and it didn't work, right? What do you offer specially that could be difference maker? You got to come in that approach, okay? You never approach it in the angle of trying to please a person. Never try to approach which is like, oh, I get you. I totally understand your problem, blah, blah, blah. No, it's very simple. I know you tried others. Here is why I'm the best in repairing your credit. I have 10 years of experience. I have, maybe you just started. I have like a couple of years of experience, but more important than experience, I know where other people are wrong and the reason why it didn't work out for you. And I know how I can help you in your scenario, because I know of a little rule that all the banks use, for example, that can ruin a credit, that if you just call them and you say these exact lines to them, they will automatically remove that charge on you or that penalty on you, which will improve your credit. You see? Or let's talk about another angle. You can say, I read the the credit repair guidelines, right? But for example, credit saving guidelines or whatever. And you can go, for example, and say, in page number 29 of the banking regulations or whatever, or in page number 31 or whatever that I've read, if you can go into the credit monitoring agencies and you pay them say $100 or whatever, right? There's a bunch of these like Experian, TransUnion, blah, 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 right? And if you go into these and in their dotted line, if you're a paid customer, you can call them and they will kind of also give you instructions on how you can go back to the lenders you had issues with and resolve them for them. Actually, I spoke to somebody on this, that's why I can tell you with experience, and they will help you resolve something and I will be the mediator, so to help you, guide you through the process. You see now the difference making is, you're not only telling them like how you're different, you're not only hearing their problem, which is you're going to say like, what did you try before and what happened, right? You ask them that question. And then thirdly, you're assuming that they tried other stuff, it didn't work, and therefore your solution is the best. You see, simple, right? It's not that difficult. And if you can do this even in your scripts, right? If you go into AvatarBuilder, and I see this all the time, right? You go into here, right? And when you're looking at the scripts that you're writing for clients and yourself and so on, if you can come up with a solution to their problem by admitting that they've tried other stuff and there's a reason why, okay? Reason why it didn't work before and why it's going to work this time, right? So to simplify this, why, okay, it will work this time. Most important thing, this time with you specifically. It can even be clients, right? Hey, you're trying to create a video for you. Did you try creating videos before? And they'll be like, oh yeah, I tried creating videos. It never got like solution, like it never got me sales and so on, blah, 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 right? It didn't get me results and so on. That's why I'm trying to do something unique, because I read somewhere that, you know, if you get animated videos, they're going to do much better. Or I read somewhere that you can try different things, maybe social media and so on. They don't know, but they've tried other people. They didn't work out to the way they preferred. They came looking for a solution, and you're going to explain to them, look, okay, those other people who tried, they made some mistakes. They didn't understand your client base properly, your customer base properly. They didn't understand what kind of video to create for that right audience. As an example, I always tell this, right? If you're creating a video for Instagram, never create a long length video. Never create like a 3-minute, 5-minute video. Look, keep it within 30 to 90 seconds. You're going to get the best engagement. You're going to get the best results. Yeah, somebody's going to say we have Instagram Watch, so you can watch longer videos, but it doesn't work like that. Instagram wants new content and people to finish the existing content. Same thing. So the logic is exactly the same, okay? Hope that is kind of making sense to you. So you can explain this kind of things, which are basics that I've been teaching you forever now, and you can guide them why this time it's different, why this time it's unique, why this time it's going to get them results, okay? If you can explain this in simple terms and somebody, a layman, can understand, you got the client, you got the sale, and you can consistently keep getting clients, okay? We're talking about high income skills. We're talking about copywriting. It's not really that complicated. The only thing I need from you is to be understanding of the basics, okay? If you're not going to understand the basics and you're going to try to rule the world, you're going to get crushed by the competition, right? So, simple. This is your homework, if you will. Basically, when you're going out there trying to get clients, trying to create videos for your own business, if you will, or a service of yours, whatever it is, understand your clients have tried other people and did not get the desired result, and that's the reason why they're coming to you. And otherwise they would not come to you. They could go to their friends, they could go to their buddy, they could go to their cousin, their in-laws, they could go to anybody, right? Why did they come to you particularly? You're not family, you're not a friend, you're not anybody. They came because they tried others and they failed. They did not get the desired result. So why should it work this time with you? What is so unique, right? That you can bring in. You need some research on it, maybe do it. Maybe you want to go understand what they've tried before and failed at, so you can try something new. You do this, you can charge more money. You can provide better results for your clients. You can ultimately get them greater success. And I cannot stress this enough. Okay, is that clear? Type in yes in chat box if I'm clear. I'm not trying to kind of lose you here by saying some esoteric things or whatever, right? Because the last part about copywriting and script writing and creating videos I'll talk about is related to this that I've just explained to you. Okay, why this is going to work this time. Okay, so and I'll explain that. Okay, so we can talk about this as well. Okay, so yeah, I'm seeing some people saying yes, cool. All right, the last part is about imagination. Okay, I'll talk about this in just a second. Okay, imagination, that's it, the most important thing in the world. So basically the idea with this one is, say people went to 10 other people, it didn't work out. They tried to lose weight, didn't work out. They tried to get a trainer for something, didn't work out. They tried to grow their business, didn't work out. They came to you. They tried to create videos before, they failed, so they came to you. Or they gave video creation to somebody else, they failed, they came to you. They want to get more traffic, couldn't get it, they came to you. They want to get more sales, they came to you. Whatever the case is, right? Now you told them why you're different, right? You're different. But that doesn't mean that they're going to take you seriously right away, right? Obviously, because you trying to help them is okay, but they got to believe in themselves that, you know, whatever it is that they're looking for, you can provide to them ultimately, right? Just because you are different from other people is not enough. So what you have to do is the last part about copywriting, which is the most important part, is you gotta have them visualize the end result, right? How their life will be when you came in and you solved that problem. Okay, so visualize. Okay, visualize. So the point is that, let's say you're a personal trainer. You're simple. You're gonna tell them, look, this is why I'm different than everybody else. Let's say you're a life coach. This is why I'm different than everybody else. Okay, now these are the reasons why I'm different, right? These are the reasons why other people failed you, right? Other companies failed you. This is why I'm going to help you succeed. And then you're going to say, oh, okay, interesting. Okay, now what next? Something like that, let's say they say. Or they watch a video and they think that, right? Now what you got to do, and this is the last part of the equation, is you got to have them visualize how their life will be after they got the end result, right? So for example, if it's somebody trying to lose weight, how will your life be if you got the end result that you're searching? Meaning if you actually lost weight, you went to the goal that you did, how would your life be, right? And then in videos, you'll see this, right? You'll see stock videos at that time. Somebody's actually waking up in the morning and doing yoga and feeling good about themselves. That's visualization right there. Another part could be, let's say if it is you're a life coach, it's somebody you're helping out going through dealing with some depression or whatever, and so on. Well, how would they visualize? For them, it's basic stuff matters, right? Somebody going through depression and so on. Basic stuff could be like waking up from the bed happy, or doing some bare minimum things without feeling bad, you know, basic stuff. So they can visualize. Let's say going into real estate and, buying and selling a house. Well, simple. Let's have them visualize how it would be living in their dream house or living in their dream office, or how their life would be if you help them get whatever they wanted, right? This is something you gotta put into your video. Just before the call to action, this needs to be there. When you do this, and here, this is what we did. You see, helping people get beautiful smile, right? You see this? This one right here is pretty much visualization in the script, right? See my point? Beautiful smile. What is a beautiful smile? Is there even like something called a beautiful smile? Who invented something called a beautiful smile? Everybody's smile is beautiful in my opinion, right? There's no such thing as not a beautiful smile. If so many smiles, they all look beautiful in their own way, right? But the point is that it kind of elicits the visualization part where, oh yeah, people are going to comment me that I have a beautiful smile. You see? That is the exact same point I'm trying to make. Just before the call to action, you got to do this. And then you can say, okay, call us, email us, buy from us, add to cart, whatever. Doesn't matter. Call to action, whatever it is that you want them to do. Okay? That comes the very, very end. Okay? End. But if you do this properly and you do it in a two-way communication, right? It's even more powerful. You do it in two-way communication, meaning you created a video, you posted out there, somebody had some questions on it, and you answered them. You're going to be unstoppable. Your videos are going to get results. Your clients are going to be super happy if you're creating it for clients. You're going to be super happy if it's your own business and so on. But please understand, these are the foundations. I mean, there are advanced stuff we can go into, but they all fall into this. If you can understand this, you're going to be a massively successful business person. You're going to be a massively successful marketer, massively successful video guy or gal, anything you want, right? You're going to get everything you want in your hands, right? Because there's this Zig Ziglar made this quote, right? Which is, if you can help enough people get what they want, you get what you want, right? Ultimately. So the same concept is the same thing. So, yeah, that's the main thing. Okay, now I'm seeing some questions. Let's answer them, and then I want to make it as crisp as possible because I don't want to go forever here and kind of bore you, but I want to make it very crisp. So let's go through some questions here, okay? Yeah, no worries. Happy to help. I know sometimes people don't hear this stuff, but, and I know sometimes it can be disjointed, but it's very simple. Understand what the person who's coming to you or watching your video has already been through 18 different other products or solutions and so on, and it didn't solve their problem, right? And understand that you're the 19th person coming in. So now what's so unique about this 19th person, you trying to solve that problem? If you understand this, now the next step for you to do is to position yourself saying, hey, what did you try before that didn't work out for you? And if you do research, you'll find this, right? For example, in the dentist case, right? People had pain when they went to a dentist, for example, and they had issues with insurance, for example, not covering it. These are problems, right? I'm getting in and I'm solving it before they can even verbalize it to me with my video, right? And the second thing, after that, you get them into reframing some of their key points into positives. Like, hey, it's a good thing that you went through 18 people to find me, because now when I give you a solution, you're going to take it seriously. Because you failed so many times before, with my solution, you're going to at least feel like, oh, okay, what do I have to lose? Let's give it a try. What do you have to lose, right? Because I've lost 18 times, what do I have to lose? You're going to come up with that approach and implement things. If I was the first person coming in, you wouldn't have taken it as seriously. You see how I reframe that argument? Same thing. And finally, once you reframe it, you can then position the solutions you provide. And finally, once you provide those solutions, you give them the imagination. Okay, this is what my solution will actually do for you at the end of the day. And the problem here, which the masters of copywriting, masters of sales, masters of video creation, right? People who charge $25,000, $30,000 for a video. What they've mastered is the true problem is completely different from what the problem that people might verbalize. Okay? Does that make sense? Like, for example, somebody is trying to lose weight. It's not because they look fat or they're not looking pretty or whatever, right? That's not their main problem. Their main problem could be, for example, they are not getting respected at their workplace. They're not getting promoted in the workplace because they are not pretty. Or maybe they're not getting opportunities in life because of that. Or maybe they're not getting respected or being taken seriously or whatever. That's the actual root problem, right? It's just the losing weight is just something that is they think is the main problem, and in reality it's something else. Now, they don't have to lose weight to gain confidence, right? You can get confidence just by practicing, right? Public speaking or whatever, right? You can be confident without having to do that. But the thing is that's the point you got to figure out. The masters figure this out. For example, somebody's trying to, I got some example on credit, right? Credit repair. Why is credit repair so important? And what are the real problem people have? It could be as simple as buying their dream home. That is their key problem. They don't want to repair their credit because, it's a bad thing to have a bad credit score, or having a good score is magically going to solve all their problems. No, their key point is if they just can, help with their credit, they could probably start their dream business. or they could start living in their dream house. You see, it's simple stuff, but people have a different connotation of what the real problem is, right? So you got to figure that out. That's another thing. You got to do some research. And if you want to be really, really successful, this is the basic level research. You got Google, you got so many other things these days. You can go to Facebook groups and find out what the biggest problems people have, right? Nothing really difficult about it. But if you can figure that out, the true problem somebody's facing, and you can verbalize it, and you can put it into your video, and you can reach those 1,000 people and engage with them, you built a really successful business. Simple as that. And I can point to thousands and thousands of people who've done that before. It's not like never been done, or it's like some esoteric concept, right? So yeah, you follow Zig Ziglar, amazing person, right? Did some great things in his life, and that's the legacy he left behind. Even stuff that he's done before is still being used today. But what I'm trying to explain is these are the forefathers who set the landmark for us to follow. It's not like it's new stuff I'm bringing across, but the modalities has changed, right? When in the time of Zig Ziglar, Jim Rohn, another mentor of mine, all these are the people, they didn't have the ability to do two-way communication on scale. As an example, they didn't have chat, right? Like you could chat with you could create a group and chat with like 10 people at once. You could, for example, text message people. They had to get on a phone call, and it's not scalable, right? And they had to get in person and do like a seminar in front of thousands of people. They didn't have the tools you have right now. You could post a video on YouTube and you could be having 100 views by tonight, especially in many different topics. And if you get 100 views and you get 10 comments from those, you can connect with those 10 people. YouTube is begging you, please connect with those people and answer their questions. You can even private message them, right? And even on Facebook, everywhere. And this right here was not a possibility before, where people come to you, where you don't have to go to people, right? Very, very big successful thing a lot of people do, okay? And very, very important, okay? Now, let's answer a few questions, and I'll be calling it a day today, right? All right, so, yeah. Don't be afraid to describe your best customer type. Absolutely. Very, very important. And also you got to tell them this is for a client. I think the question is like, don't be afraid to ask your client, who is your customer? What is their age group? What is their gender? What is their, for example, belief systems? Ask them, right? It's important because you have to have your marketing message reach those people. Like an example with a dentist, right? There are different types of dentists. A dentist who specializes in kids, right? So that they can actually, for example, do procedures for children without, in a fun environment, basically, where they might be having toys, they may be having video games, they may having, whatever, right? Cartoons, whatever, playing, right? And they're very, very successful people doing that. So you got to know what their market is. There are people who are successful, for example, in cavity filling. There's some people specializing in, for example, dentures, people specializing in certain aspects, right? And you got to know what that is. The same thing with credit repair. The different levels of credit repair. We talk about credit repair, right? Different levels. There are people who had such bad credit that they're in desperate straits to fix it. Then there are people who just want to fix a few points so they can go to the next level up, and buy their dream house, for example, or get credit for their business so they can get a loan and so they can grow their business. Different people at different levels, and you got to market to different people differently, right? So you got to know that as well. How much would you charge? Depends on the person willing to pay, right? If I can provide results, it's performance based. My charging is infinite, because I could charge for a video 5% of the sales of a person, or 10% of the sales, if I'm sure that I can get those sales, which is the most difficult thing in the world, not the easiest thing to do. But if you can do that, you can write your own check, right? Basically, because it's infinite. And another question, what kind of video content would you make for customer with makeup and body care, self-grooming, wholesale robot store? Okay, think of it in simple terms, right? And wholesale robot, if people are not familiar, that's our e-commerce platform. All right, anyway, so this you have to understand, right? Makeup and body care. Figure out who your target market is, okay? Most important thing. People create generic e-commerce sites. People create like mass market ones. The problem is, if you don't pick who your market is, let's say makeup, who's your market? Do you want to serve younger audiences? Or you want to serve women who are maybe 60 years and above? and you have a mission and a message to ensure that they have makeup and they should look pretty at that age, whatever, right? Pick the market, pick the customer, look at their pain points. What would a 60-year-old female have in terms of needs and wants for makeup, grooming, self-grooming, and so on, right? If needed, go get on a call with your mother-in-law or your mom or your whoever, some friend of yours, whoever, and try to get the pain points that they may be having when it comes to self-care, makeup, body care, and so on, right? If you pick that market, it's much easier to get the sale because you go directly where those people are hanging out, right? They might be Facebook groups they're hanging out or whatever. You get my point. And that's how you could create a video content. I would niche down a lot more than go broad, okay? That will be easier. So going forward, even I would do basically, let's say self-grooming, and if I'm doing it for men, for example, I would do it just for possibly dads, married men or dads, for example, because they don't have that time to do grooming. So my pitch would be, it's fast, right? See my point? You gotta niche down, you go specific, okay? Go deep. Another question, okay? Where do you research for topics? Google is one, Facebook groups, Reddit, Quora, right? Reddit, Quora is a big one, where people post questions, right? So, for example, I could go in right now and I'll show you, right? So, I'll show you, okay? So I can go into Google and check this out. I can go to Google and search, okay, well, let me cut this, and search how to lose weight before wedding, Reddit, okay? This is something, right? Give me your secret wedding weight loss. And look at this, 60 comments were posted here, right? Anyone try to lose before? What's the experience like? Blah, 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 right? Now check this out, okay? Diet, exercise, make healthier food choices, small portions, wedding is less than 3 months, blah, blah, blah. And here you can find a whole bunch of people who've been through the same issues that they are providing to people. And now check this out. This is the thread creator, okay? And I want to show you this right here so that you can get a better idea. So let's see this. I really kept my diet in check. I find ketogenic diet works best for me. Haven't worked out yet other than walking. I'm getting 10 to 15K steps a day. So I'm happy with that. Definitely want to start toning, especially my arms. I have this crazy obsession with my arms, right? I always feel like they're so fat. Okay, plan on doing body weight exercises soon to help fix that. This is your potential prospect, right? So if I'm doing a video, imagine this, right? I'm telling, are you tired of doing all kinds of diets? If I'm writing it for this person right now, right? And this is probably thousands of people like this, right? Remember I told you just need 1,000 people? I was like, are you tired of doing all kinds of diets, getting some results, doing all the exercise and walking and diet, but you have these flabby arms, right? And you're not happy about your arms and you want to lose those flabby arms, right? Well, I have a solution. And this specifically focus on flabby arms only. So now this person will buy from me, because I focused on their obsession with their arms. Okay, see my point? Does that make sense? Is that clear now? Right? This is how I do research. If I'm doing research, this is how I do, right? And you'll get better ideas, right? And you can read all this stuff and check this out. Okay, there's another person who wrote how their feelings are or whatever. And check this out. Check this out, okay? I switched to carb manager and like it, especially at work. When I'm bored, I graze, like I eat a lot. I don't snack at home much, but just at work. I'm super strict with portion sizes, blah, blah, blah. I'm way overdoing it with peanut butter and so on and so forth. So every time they're posting something, they're telling their internal feelings, right? And it's so powerful when you get it, right? So you got this keto, intermittent fasting, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. Now there's another thread here posted. Okay, let's see here. Let's go down actually. Right, check this out. Okay, track calories. First things first, abs are made in kitchen, not at the gym, and so on and so forth. Right, so you'll see the key components that successful people are talking about, and so on and so forth. The same thing, by the way, you can even put here Quora, and you can type in, and you see this, right? There are a bunch of comments here, a bunch of posts here as well. So you can write these down as well. You see my point? I hope that is making sense, right? And you can even do it, for example, put something called forum, and then you'll see this. Okay, see this? And then you go to forums, and then you'll see all these posts. You see my point? So, and you'll see like I had my list, I'm planning my wedding here, and then there are all these key points that they're trying to mention. So this is how you get some ideas and people's thought processes, okay? And what they're really saying, okay? And look at how many are available here, right? I mean, if I just go into this, like this one here, right? Look at this. I started kickboxing, even simple changes, so on and so forth. All these people talk about solutions, but also what they went through, their pain points, their, behavior change and so on. You'll get better ideas, okay? So that's a big one, okay? And, that'll help you out a lot as well, okay? And finally, okay? And this one, well, this is one of those things, like, I rather do it for free for you folks rather than create a program for it. So if you guys are interested and gals are interested in more of this stuff, so I'll be happy to do more of this stuff. I don't believe in charging money for helping out with being a better copywriter, becoming a better salesperson, because it's a skill that can be taught. It's a skill that takes a little bit of time. And it's a skill you don't need to buy courses to learn. It's a skill that needs practice. It's more like practice. You know what I mean? Like, if you can go in and research this stuff here and find out their key points, it's much easier for you to become a better copywriter than even going through a 20-hour course, right? Because you're directly going into the person's heart and then the brain, right? When you do that, you're good enough. You don't have to do much, okay? Hope that is making sense. Okay, now the other part, okay? This is another question. Look at this. I'm offering customized pet frames, which are a fun gift to give, with a pain point be people getting bored and giving the same kind of gifts. That could be one. And also the other one is nostalgia. Seriously, people, for example, look at their pets like kids, right? So your pitch, think of it, right? Like, this is another thing. Like, if I were to write this, I know you posted a comment before, so I did see your comment before, for sure. But let's talk about that, right? So, okay. Now let's say it's pet, and I'm assuming the pet. When you're saying pet frames, I'm assuming you're saying photos and so on. I'm assuming, right? If I'm correct, okay. I'm hoping that's the correct one. Photo frames, or is it some other kind of product? You can let me know, but you can say like, hey, you could have photo frames, and you could have, for example, certain things for kids. Pets are kids, right? For a lot of people, and it's similar to having their own babies, right? So why can't they have that? So you equate that both through nostalgia through whatever, right? So I would say something along those lines, right? Whatever the niche is, you can come up with these concepts. Like, you can even go to Google, right? And you can search, like, you can go in here and pet frames for dogs. Okay, so yeah, photo frames. Reddit, let's say, let's search that. Okay, this is a memorial keepsake for dogs, right? You see all these people, right? Best way to pet-proof aluminum screen frames. Does anybody have a pet-proof screen? Blah, blah, blah. You get my point. You can find different use cases, okay? Okay, you see this? The word is memorialize your dog, okay? That's a big one here. So I would hit that point, because it's saying, right? How do you memorialize your pet? That could be your big pitch, right? So memorialize your dog. That would be the biggest way I could start a video. Hey, are you looking to memorialize your dog? Or are you looking to create great memories that last forever for your pet, right? You see my point? So this could be something you can do, okay? And I would just do it in like a second research. I didn't even take me a minute, right? Hope that is making sense. And yeah, absolutely. Someone said you could focus on memories by if someone who has just lost a pet. 100%. You see this? This is another thing about crowdsourcing, right? You can get people who are going through this, right? So absolutely true. You can find it even better, okay? Now, and the other thing, okay? And the other thing as well that I'm going to go through here, let's go through is, and so on, and we'll go through different parts here, right? So that you can go through it, right? All right. You see all this is like, oh, good ones here. All right. So are you saving the trainings in the training or keep it in the so you have it in the Facebook group? I know you want to watch the replay later, but also you can go through the 21-day training sessions as well that I'm doing, okay? We didn't do it because we had the Martin Luther King holiday coming up, so a lot of people wouldn't have shown up, but we've been doing ever since. So here you go into the AvatarBuilder app, and then you go in here, you see this, well, you go into the tutorial section here. And when you go to the tutorial section here in the top, you see watch 21 day, you click here, it's going to be up here. And I'll be putting it on YouTube so you can watch it with subtitles, captions, and blah, blah, blah as well. So you'll find them here later, okay? You're not in 24 hours or less. So it's going to be in Facebook, but also there. Up to you what you decide to watch it in, okay? And with YouTube, you have full control to watch it on your mobile device and so on and so forth. That's why we're putting it there, okay? All right, now the other one, okay, last part that I'm gonna do, okay, which is another key point that I wanted to go through finally, is this stuff, and this is my last part I'm gonna make here. Let's go to the new one here. This stuff might seem advanced, okay, I get it, trust me, I get it. It might seem advanced, it might seem out of your reach, it might seem like you cannot do it. What I want you to understand is, think of it this way, okay? Every little thing that you do in life is all about persuasion, right? Like you have kids, you want to get your kids to go to bed. That's persuasion, right? You want to get the girl of your dreams or the guy of your dreams. That's persuasion, right? If you're trying to, for example, have somebody pay you money, you got to persuade them. You can't just go in and say, I'm the greatest person in the world, please pay me money, right? Nobody accepts that. So you got to persuade them in some way or the other. So if you want to do it in scale, video is the only way to do it, okay? There's no other way. I wish there was another way. There's not right now. Maybe things change later, but video is the fastest way to do so on scale to elicit emotions in people, right? So what you have to figure out then is if it's a very, very important skill for you to do. Now, whether you're a realtor, whether you're an e-commerce person, whether you're an agency, consultant, whoever you're in, whoever you are, make sure that you understand this right here, okay, can only be good if you do your research, okay? And also assume, if you're doing it for clients, that they have not done the research, because if they've done the research, they would not need you to begin with. Probably they don't have the time, they don't have the knowledge, they don't have the resources, they don't have somebody like me training you folks on this. So if you can do this on scale, it'll help you be a better entrepreneur, and you can generate that 1,000 people. I always keep telling you this. Please understand, start with 100, you're going to be made $3,000 to $5,000. Get 1,000 though, this right here. This is my aim, okay? And trust me, I've made millions, tens of millions actually over the years. So I've even done $1 million in a day. I've done more than that. I don't want to brag, but I'm saying if I can connect with these 1,000 people, I can do that kind of numbers. I'm not looking for 500,000. I'm not looking for millions. I don't care. For me, it's very simple. So if I'm thinking that, you should be doing too. So what I'm trying to get at is, focus on these 1,000 people. How can I get the 1,000 people? How can I transform the lives of 1,000 people? How can I do it in such a way where it might take me a year to do it, but how can I get 1,000 people in a year to follow my program, my message, my product, my service, whatever. Now, when it comes to agencies though, even 100 is good enough, right? This 100 that I'm just trying to get at, right? Even that is enough at the end of the day if you're trying to create an agency and so on. But the thing is, ultimately though, right, what I like to look at it is you create videos for other clients to generate these 100 people here, but eventually your goal also should be these 1,000 people, okay? That way what happens is you can do both and you can be a real game changer. So think of it even like if you go into, any business, or it can be any product, any service. The people who have these 1,000 people, loyal customers, will always destroy the competition, even if the competition is spending millions of dollars, right? Because these people, these 1,000 people will be advocates for your product, okay? I like to call it advocates, meaning they're going to actually, shout out of the rooftop that your product, your service is the best thing ever. So this is what my focus is. This is what your focus should be, okay? When you're doing e-commerce, look at 1,000 customers. Can you get that? And 1,000 customers, can you serve them the best possible way? Can you get them to engage? Can you communicate with them and so on? If you're an agency consultant, go for those 1,000 people that client can reach, okay? And then you can charge them a percentage per sale, whatever, because you're going to make tons doing that. Or you can just go for the 100 if that's what your main goal is right now. How do you get those 100, okay, in your market? You could get 100 people, like trust me, I get 100 people right now in about maybe 2 weeks maximum. even if I don't know anything about the market, because there are Facebook groups right now. There are people in Reddit who have a problem. You can message, like literally all those Reddit posts that I posted, I can go and message them privately. Quora, people have a problem, I can go in and I can message them privately saying, hey, look, you have a problem. Can you let me a little bit know? I'll be happy to help you for free, but I'd just like to know a little bit more about your problem. And now you gain their trust, and you do it in a slow way. You don't have to do it immediately. Do it in a slow way. Immediately, you'll start seeing results after like a month or so, overnight, because it's gonna take that month, but overnight you're gonna see that results because you're doing everything correctly. And in a world where you gotta understand this, and this is another thing, how much is the world population right now? Let's go grab it because that keeps changing every time. I don't want to be wrong at that number. What's the world population right now? Let's type it in Google. World population 2021. So look at this. The world population is 7,874,000,000 people right now. Okay, it's growing by 1.05% every year. Okay. Just over 1%. So that's like 1% of 7 billion is I think like something like 7 million or something, or 700 million. I don't know, whatever it is, right? You get my point. 70 million, I think it's basically, if I'm correct. Anyways, the point is that if you can understand that there's 70 million or something new people coming in, being born every year, and I'm only saying, please look at just 100 of them or even 1,000 of them, not a big deal, right? That's how you got to look at it. Now, I know somebody's going to, smart guy or gal is going to be like, oh, but you know, Paul, but that's not a lot of people. A lot of people in the world only live on $2 a day. So really, it's like they don't have the spending capacity. It doesn't work like that, because if those 1,000 people are advocating your product, getting another 1,000 people from anywhere in the world is super easy, because you got 1,000 people pushing your product or service to the masses, right? So that's how you got to look at it. So hope that helps. Okay, and I'll try to answer your questions via chat later on after this event is done. I want to make sure also that people watch this later and get some value out of it rather than it going on and on forever. So hope you found this helpful. Do let me in the chat box. Make me like, share, comment, or whatever in the chat box so that we can do more of this training for you, right? And also, coming back to AvatarBuilder, we have some more updates coming up. I'll be sharing with you some couple of really, really important updates I'll be mentioning coming up very, very soon. So watch out for my update. I'll do a live stream. I'll also probably notify it in the application as well, and so on and so forth. Okay, so watch out for my updates. And that being said, all right, so let me see here. Yeah, most of my questions, the questions that came up have been answered, right? So that's good here. So thanks again for everybody here for being live. Appreciate each and every one of you posting your comments, your questions, and so on. Really do appreciate it. It's awesome that you all post your comments here and so on. So appreciate you all joining in. You have given me your attention, so that means a lot as well. I get it. So thanks again, and I'll be in touch very soon. So watch out for my other trainings coming up, right? Thanks again. Take care. Bye.